Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 2015 UNSW Law Awards. Let me begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of this land, the Bidjigal people, and to pay my respects to their elders past and present, and to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island students, colleagues and friends at the university. I'd like to welcome all the students who are here tonight, their family and friends, our alumni, and to distinguished guests, notably including the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court and Lieutenant Governor of New South Wales, the Honourable Tom Bathurst, ACQC. As Dean, the best part of my job, I think, is dealing with our extraordinarily talented students. Entry to this law school is now so competitive, and the quality of our students is just so high. But even amongst the very talented, there are some who stand out, and that is what tonight is about. Recognizing outstanding excellence is something which has become a bit of a habit for us in the law school. UNSW Law is now ranked 15th in the world on the QS International Law School rankings. We're the youngest law school in the top 25. For our students, last year was a particularly notable year, with 2 graduates winning the most prestigious scholarship, the Rhodes. And those alumni, Emily Burke and Sean Lau, who, when they were students, regularly were up here receiving prizes, and who follow our 2013 Rhodes winner, Kunal Sharma, are wonderful role models for those of the students who are here tonight. We're proud to congratulate and to acknowledge the extraordinary talents of our leading students. And we're going to do that tonight in a number of ways, by presenting prizes, then acknowledging scholarship recipients and the students on the Dean's list for academic excellence. But before we get to that part of the evening, we're going to begin with our keynote speaker, who is Dr. Kate Harrison. Kate is an alumna of the law school, a member of the faculty's advisory council, and a senior partner at Gilbert & Tobin, where she heads the litigation group. Kate is one of Australia's leading intellectual property lawyers, specialising in copyright and trademarks and other commercial and corporate litigation. At the reception later, she will be providing free legal advice to all students worried about their illegal downloads of Game of Thrones. Don't worry, Kate, that's only about 90% of the audience. Kate is listed as a leading lawyer in every professional list that I could find to look at. She's had an extraordinarily wide career as well. Notably, she has a LLM from Columbia University and a PhD from Sydney University. I'm going to speak to you about that later. Before joining Gilbert & Tobin, Kate was admitted as an attorney and practiced law in New York City for several years. And more recently, she took leave from working at Gilbert & Tobin to work in government as a ministerial advisor, first as Chief of Staff to John Faulkner, and then as Special Advisor to Prime Minister Julia Gillard. And it's a great honour to have Kate come to speak to us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, David. I should just say before I start that I wondered why I had been invited tonight to give this address, a great honour though it is. When I arrived and I read the list of all of the law firms that are giving prizes here tonight, and I saw, to my utter mortification, that Gilbert & Tobin is not listed, I suddenly realised why David had asked me. And I expect I'll be putting my hand in my pocket on the way out to contribute the first sum for next year. So I want to start in the way of the traditional way of these speeches, which is by congratulating all of the award and prize winners here tonight. As David said, you've truly excelled at the highest level. What's more, you've done so within a law school which has itself excelled. The University of New South Wales Law School describes itself as a leading global law school. And that description is, of course, richly deserved. For this law school to have come from unprepossessing beginnings in the huts in 1971 to a global ranking alongside the best law schools in the world is an extraordinary achievement. And the current Dean of the Law School, Professor Dixon, and all of those who preceded him in the role should actually be receiving an award tonight as well for what they've achieved. Perhaps you could give them a round of applause. And the rest of you who are receiving prizes and awards today, albeit not the Gilbert and Tobin Prize, should see your achievements within that context. You've excelled and shown yourselves to be outstanding within an institution globally recognised for its academic standing. For some of you, this might be your first university award, something special. For others, it could be already passé, just another trophy for the pool room. But every prize and every award actually matters. Every one is a different marker of your achievement. Every one marks you as someone particularly smart, hardworking, committed, and used to putting in the effort. Perhaps I should stop there. Perhaps I've congratulated you too much. Because after all, by definition, all of you are not just high achievers, you're overachievers. Indeed, shocking overachievers. First, you actually achieved entry to this law school, which is these days truly an eye of the needle exercise. And secondly, you've shown yourselves to be intellectually outstanding within even that prestigious group. But inevitably, even if you have a year or two to go in your degree, overachievers such as you are still going to have to ask themselves, what's next? What's my next challenge? What's ahead for me? And tonight, unfortunately, I have some very bad news for most of you. There is only trouble ahead. Why? Because intellect of the type that you have carries obligation. But at the same time, from where you sit today, your next challenges are going to be harder. To chart out a career, you will probably need employment. You will have to go to work. A dark place where they give very few prizes and awards. And everything about work is becoming harder. Taking a job is harder. You have to apply rigorous selection criteria. How will this advance my career? How does it fit my long-term plan? And then once you do have work, you're not likely to be happy in it. Average income may have doubled since 1975, but psychic income, the personal reward or satisfaction from a job, much less easy to measure, has almost certainly not. And if you don't have work or want to change, it could be much harder to find the next challenge and your next role. Will there be enough jobs for lawyers, I hear you ask? The number of law graduates has doubled in a decade, while law firms, which have traditionally embraced the tide of freshly minted lawyers each year and rushed for the likes of you, have not grown at the same pace. 12,000 law graduates a year and a total profession of 60,000 solicitors. That sounds to me like the entire profession being disgorged from law schools every 5 years, like lava bubbling down Phillip Street, sweeping the old and decrepit out of their offices and chambers to make way for you. But of course you know all of this, and indeed you may well be worrying about it already. Indeed, I believe you are. Surveys, also titled A Quick Look on Google, show that 52% of you feel stressed about it, either all of the time or most of the time. Should you be stressed? You, of all people? Of course not. There will always be jobs and always be opportunities for the best and brightest of graduates from law school. But it does mean you should stop studying for a moment or two and spend that time thinking about your career and looking for the opportunities that are right for you. Only then will work deliver for you, and will you be able to contribute as you should. Contribution, that's the obligation side of having intellect. But wait, the trouble continues. Not only are there too many lawyers, you have much larger problems on a national scale stretching ahead of you. I refer, of course, to the latest national contribution to Doomwatch, the Intergenerational Report. The only government report I know of to be sold through the device of unusual shirts. That report tells us, with great enthusiasm and by video, unlike most reports, that we should all be worried about the future. Workforce participation is decreasing. As you get older, there will be too few younger Australians to carry the burden of tax paying to keep the whole show on the road. And it has to keep going for you for much longer, because as the Treasurer tells us, you're going to live to 150. Now, perhaps he's being slightly optimistic there, but the Intergenerational Report does say that you will all live to your mid-1990s, and that is quite a long career. The report says we have to build jobs and opportunities and make choices to prepare for the future. Sadly, one of those choices has come and gone for you already, which would have been not to study for a degree in law. Law degrees, we are told, are passé. STEM is where it is today. Science, technology, engineering and mathematics, they're the skills that count, the jobs we need, the areas of future work. We're told we need to build a STEM economy. STEM will make us competitive, innovative and productive. STEM people will be more in demand, more highly paid and better looking than all of us. These are all bad developments for those of us who see ourselves as more petal than STEM. It's a good thing then that I've been asked to speak tonight, because my mission is one of reassurance in this sea of gloom. Reassurance that you will find wonderful and exciting areas of work and entirely unexpected opportunities, all by virtue of having been to law school. While it's trite to say so now, law school trains you for so much more than just legal practice. People will tell you that the study of law today is not primarily about the law itself. It's almost irrelevant. It's about the legal skills that one learns. And what are those skills? An ability to absorb and organise facts, a capacity to assess evidence, reasoned decision-making, effective communication and powerful advocacy. That's the traditional legal skill set. But let me share a truth with you. They're not actually the key skills you will need to maximise the value of your law degree over the next 150 years. I can best explain my view of the legal skills I believe you should prioritise by looking back on my own esteemed career. Although I'm here in the guise of a partner at a largish law firm, Gilbert & Tobin, the one with no prize, I'm here to tell you that there's a lot more to life with a law degree than a unidirectional career in a large law firm. Beware the conveyor belt that takes you in as a bright-eyed innocent, lured by the bread and circuses of summer clerk fiestas, and spits you out 50 years later as an ageing partner lumbering towards retirement, clutching your superannuation. Not that Gilbert & Tobin isn't a terrific place to work. It really is. Apart from the work it needs to do on its prize distribution, the firm is a remarkable achievement. Built mainly by Danny Gilbert from the ground up, not yet 30 years old, it's got some of the values and agility of a smaller workplace and yet a thriving practice in areas like corporate law, banking, litigation, technology and so on. The firm wins many awards and prizes, and you would be in very, very good company there. Like many law firms, Gilbert & Tobin has a good sense of its place in the community and the importance of making a contribution. This week, for example, we hosted the Breakfast of CEOs for Marriage Equality with Alan Joyce from Qantas. He got all the publicity, we got none. Perhaps if we'd given Alan a prize, we may have been more successful. But working at any law firm, large or small, which sees itself in that way, would be a rewarding and stimulating career. Working in the firm's litigation group, as I do today, is very demanding but also exciting. It particularly suits a certain A-type personality that thrives on wins, bounces back after losses, and doesn't mind late nights. We should all be so programmed. What are the key legal skills required for that kind of practice? I would say humour and stamina. But there's more to life than law firms, of course, and I've actually had far more interesting jobs away from Gilbert and Tobin. I started my legal career in community legal centres at the Public Interest Advocacy Centre, a dynamic legal centre with a strong focus on law reform and public interest litigation. It's been responsible for significant law reform and litigation in areas such as discrimination cases, toxic chemicals, mental health advocacy, utilities regulation, access to justice, and the list goes on. My arrival there coincided with the introduction of FOI laws in Australia, and I rapidly became an expert in freedom of information, which is always easier and a good tip for life to find something that no one else knows anything about. Important legal skill number 2, the skill of quick study with resounding confidence. I then focused on public interest issues in media and communications law, which involved me in hearings before the Broadcasting Tribunal, as it then was, about whether Alan Bond and Christopher Skase were fit and proper people to hold broadcasting licences. Today we may know the answers, but then we were still asking the question. Legal skill set number 3, always be up for a challenge. I also had the immense good fortune to spend time studying law overseas at Columbia Law School and to work for a law firm in New York. What a world opens when you live and work overseas. There were some challenges, like learning the law of a different country sufficiently to be able to practice law half competently. For me, that wasn't the only challenge. I recall one of my more compelling addresses in court, at some length, at the end of which the judge leaned back and said to me, "Counsellor, I have no idea what you just said." I happily repeated the entire address adopting a fake American accent and was successful. He then, of course, asked me for a recommendation for his Queensland holiday. Legal skill number 4, agility under pressure. But perhaps my legal training best equipped me for the roles I've had where I wasn't practising law, most recently working as a political advisor. Lured by the promise of change in 2007, I turned my back on Gilbert and Tobin and deserted legal practice for 4 years for the chance to go back to law reform, this time on the side of the lawmakers. I got to work with Senator Faulkner as the Cabinet Secretary on the introduction of new government accountability measures, including the reform of freedom of information laws. Quite challenging. Not everyone in government sees sunlight as a good idea in the same way Senator Faulkner did. Legal skill set number 5, persistence and strategic bullying. When the Minister moved unexpectedly to defence, I found myself within a day on a C-17 plane, dressed in a flak jacket and helmet, flying into Afghanistan. I thought, this is a long way from intellectual property at Gilbert and Tobin. Defence people, of course, speak a different language, and the experience was like being in a foreign country. When they describe something as kinetic, it means people are shooting at each other. As someone who was unsure exactly where Afghanistan was a week before going there, I was a tiny bit out of my depth, perhaps. But legal skill number 6, look confident despite comprehensive ignorance. But lawyers, of course, should never underestimate their value. And a month later, the High Court decided the Australian Military Court was unconstitutional. Suddenly, I mattered. People called me wanting to know what a Chapter 3 court really was. Legal skills came to the fore. And legal skill number 6, get the timing right. My last period in Canberra was working with Prime Minister Julia Gillard. My job in the Prime Minister's office actually did involve giving advice on legal issues, strangely enough. But to be honest, that was deeply, deeply secondary. Legal issues were well down the list on any given day. Part of the joy of the job was how many issues there were at any one time. Perhaps the day the High Court overturned the Malaysian asylum seeker plan, legal issues moved up the agenda a little, but even that was short-lived. My primary task there, which mattered so much more than law, given the minority government, was to deal with the crossbenchers. On every bill before the Parliament, and they all passed the Parliament, the crossbenchers held the cards. On every significant decision, meetings were required and negotiations occurred. Legal skill number 7, understand power. So what should you take from that illustrated personal history of my own choice of a set of legal skills? The takeout is simple. The world is full of wonderful and exciting ways to work, both practicing law and taking other paths. What do I hope for you? I hope you find your place in the plethora of opportunities out there waiting for you. But I say don't be shy or slow to look around, or you could miss out. Those same statistics show that 70% of lawyers are unhappy, and with all your talents, do not become one of them. Which brings me to my final legal skill, get up and go. And by that I mean not that you should be energised and proactive, that goes without saying. I mean physically, you should get up and go. You should always be prepared to change where you are if you're not achieving what you want and making the contribution you want at the level you should be. So my message comes down to saying, make your own way. You're going to leave law school, every one of you, with all the smarts and all the skills to do anything you want. And what you do first shouldn't necessarily be what you do last. Use imagination and use courage to look around, change track, find something new, and the rewards will be huge. It's worth remembering leaving is always an arrival somewhere else. As Robert Frost said so eloquently, the only certain freedom's in departure. And having said that, I take my cue from him.
Thank you, Kate, for that wonderful advice for our students. And while I would never refuse money for a prize from anybody, or money for anything from anybody for that matter, I should acknowledge that Gilbert and Tobin actually funds a major centre in the law school, the Gilbert and Tobin Centre of Public Law, and has done for more than 10 years now, and very much appreciated. Okay, let's move on to the presentation of prizes. So the prizes in the law school are awarded to the best performing student at each stage in each of the programs which we teach. And stage really means year in English. So the way we'll do this is that I'll invite the donor of each prize to come up to the stage to say a few words and to make the awards to the prize winner. We begin in actually the way in which people who do award ceremonies of my vintage always fear. You think back to the Monty Python skit about the person who gets the prize who isn't able to turn up, and David Niven sent along his fridge to the prize ceremony. And unfortunately, the first prize winner tonight, Tobias Elliott Orr, is not here to accept the Dixon Family Indigenous Law Prize. So let's move on then to the second prize. This is the Law Society of New South Wales Prize for the best performing student in stage 1, first year of the LLB programme. And it's to be presented by Richard Harvey, elected member of the Council of the Law Society of New South Wales, an alumnus of the law school, and principal solicitor of Richard Harvey and Associates. Richard, thank you.
Thank you, David. Look, firstly, the Law Society is the peak representative body of the solicitors of New South Wales. There are now 29,000 solicitors in New South Wales. As Kate just said to you, that should not worry you. There's a lot of work actually being undertaken by the Law Society at the moment in relation to graduate employment, and we've certainly been speaking to Professor Dixon about that in our subcommittee. And so I say to everybody here, keep confident, everything will be all right. The Law Society is naturally concerned with standards, and the universities are a large part of that, and that's why the Law Society is proud to be able to supply this prize. I'm also pleased to say that I am an alumnus of this fine institution, albeit 35 years ago, and it didn't have a building anywhere near as flush as this one. I'm also from a small law firm background. I'm a sole practitioner. And I'd say to the people here and to all of my esteemed fellow prize givers from the large firms that there is more to legal practice than the large firms. The large firms are, of course, a massive repository of skill and expertise, and it's a terrific place to go. But don't discount the almost 50% of practitioners who are in small practices. Now, the practice of law is one of the most rewarding callings there is. I can say after 33 years of it, to be part of people's lives, that is your clients, and to assist them with everything from corporate reconstructions to conveyancing is truly massively rewarding. I say to all the students here today that to practice law is truly to be part of something special. It is a profession and something which you won't regret being a part of. I call for the award, the Law Society of New South Wales Prize for the best performing student in Stage 1, to Hosea Fakarado.
Thank you, Richard, and congratulations, Josiah. For the best performing student in Stage 2 of the LLB, the Ashurst Prize, to be presented by Andrew Kim. Again, it's great to have another UNSW alumnus here. Andrew's Senior Associate at Ashurst, working in the corporate group, specialising in M&A. Andrew.
Well, thank you for inviting us to stand here today. It's the firm's pleasure to participate in tonight's celebrations, and Ashurst has for a long time maintained its keen interest in facilitating and supporting the development of legal education, both undergraduate and postgraduate, and of course outside for lawyers in the profession. And as an alumnus of UNSW, it's my privilege to stand here tonight. On behalf of the firm, I would like to congratulate all of the prize recipients and the scholarship recipients, and we wish you every bit of success in your academic and professional careers, and we hope for some or many of you that our paths will cross in the future. Now, as the best performing student in Stage 2 of the Bachelor of Laws program, I'd like to invite Damien Morris to come forward to receive the Ashurst Prize.
Thank you, Andrew, and congratulations, Damien. And I should also acknowledge that Ashurst has played a central role in assisting us to launch a new scholarship which will be awarded next year in memory of another of our alumni, Daniel Solomons. On thirdly, the Herbert Smith Freehills Prize for the best performing student in the third year of the LLB, to be presented by Peter Butler, partner in the litigation group at Herbert Smith Freehills. For many years a senior member, managing partner of Freehills, a member of my advisory council, and I'd also acknowledge Freehills' role as a very significant supporter of the law school, of the library, of Kingsford Legal Centre, of our Law and Economics Initiative and the Law Journal. Peter, thank you.
Thanks, David. This is, for me, a great joy. I love this event. I've been to it a few times, and there's a couple of reasons. One is I want to acknowledge the university and the law faculty. Superb, outstanding. It's a personal privilege and pleasure for me to be associated with it. And through my friend David and his efforts, at a personal level, it's great that I have been involved in various ways with the university and the faculty. It's a pleasure. One thing I want to say is that I greatly enjoyed what Kate had to say. I thought there was a lot of great cameos there. My little contribution might be this. There are those listening to me who aren't yet in the profession, and you'll wonder, what's it going to be like? You know, is it just a factory working in a firm, whether big or small? It's tough, you know, you hear the stories, and it can be stressful and hard. A lot of the people here, though, especially those in the front row who are presenting prizes, I think would agree with me when I say that we've had a wonderful career in the law. It's easy to say bad things about that career, but I want to assure you that if you're lucky and have a few breaks, you'll enjoy your career as much as many of us here have. And why? Well, there's lots of reasons, and different things will appeal to different people. The pursuit of excellence is one of them, which is what I think this university and this faculty is about. Perhaps more closer to home, it's the fact that there aren't many jobs where, as you walk along the corridors and see your colleagues, and you think they're just ordinary people like you are, I put it to you that they're not. They're actually superb people in every sense. They're very clever. They're dedicated to their task, they're collegiate, and often they're fun. And sometimes maybe we take that a bit for granted. So what makes it bearable, the tough times bearable, and there are tough times. And some people say, maybe they're right, that it's getting harder. It's the collegiality and that pursuit of excellence that makes it doable and worthwhile. And that's, I guess, why I'm so happy to be here today. So on behalf of my firm and the Faculty of Law in the University of New South Wales, I'm delighted to present the Herbert Smith Freehills Prize for the best performing student at Stage 3 of the Bachelor of Law program. Just one way.
And Xiongwei is used to being up here. This is the third year in a row that he's won the year prize. So he won first year, second year, now third year. Thanks, Peter. Congratulations, Xiongwei. On to the Baker and McKenzie Prize for the best performing student in Stage 4 of the LLB, to be presented by Paul Currow, who's partner at Baker and McKenzie in the Environmental Practice Group. He heads the firm's Asia-Pacific Renewable Energy and Clean Technology Practice and co-chair of the Global Carbon Capture and Storage Practice. And again, I'd acknowledge Baker and McKenzie's long-term support for the law school. Paul. Thank you.
Thanks, David, and good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure, first time I've presented on behalf of Baker McKenzie, but my pleasure to be here tonight and to share in the celebration of all the outstanding students, and congratulations to you all. I have to confess that I'm actually an alumnus of the Australian National University, but I do have a recent but very productive association with UNSW. Some years ago, my practice, as David mentioned, is in environmental markets, and I pitched a course to another university, which I won't name, here in Sydney, to do a course in environmental markets, and I was told by that university that no, it's all covered, the content's all covered. But to UNSW's credit, they took this course on. I've been teaching it now for 6 years here as a postgraduate course, and it just reflects, in my view, the quality that we see at UNSW Law School, and it's certainly my pleasure to be associated with that. One other reflection, I thought, again, a fantastic presentation from Kate, and thank you for those inspiring words. They rung true with me because I am actually what we call a lifer at Baker McKenzie. I was a summer clerk there and now a partner. I had a few little twists and turns along the way, but certainly wherever you end up, the key point is you make your own career. And certainly doing things, in my case, like coming back and teaching at university is something that I value, and certainly having that opportunity through a law career. So with that, it's my pleasure then to award the Best Performing Student in Stage 4 of the Bachelor of Laws to Catherine Buchan.
Thanks, Paul, and congratulations, Catherine. The Minter-Ellison Prize is for the best performing student in the final year, 5th year of the LLB, prize to be presented by Nathan Devison, who I think is going to get a prize himself for being the longest repeat player at these awards ceremony. Thank you for coming back again. He was here on Monday as well for a careers session for our students. And Nathan's chairman of the partners and staff partner in the Sydney office of Minter-Ellison, where he focuses on people and culture issues within the firm and on the development of training and talent. He's a tax partner and leads the firm's national stamp duty practice. Nathan, thank you.
Thank you, David. Fantastic to be back again to celebrate amazing talent that this university produces. And Minters has great pleasure in presenting the winner of the Stage 5 final year prize of the LLB. Completing your final year of the degree really is the pivot point in your legal career, where you take your legal skills, the fantastic technical legal skills you learn here, and take on the next challenge of learning the business of law. I should say that the highest number of graduates we take from any university is from this university. The next phase of a graduate's legal career results in them consolidating their technical legal skills, and clearly the recipient of our award tonight, Catherine McKellar, has outstanding technical legal skills. And then they focus on the skills of learning interpersonal skills and commercial skills, which will help them achieve their full potential in the industry. At Minter-Ellison, our goal is to be our client's best partner, and that really requires more than excellence in the legal skills, but it requires us to live our culture of innovation, collaboration and inspiration in everything we do. I have total confidence that Catherine will achieve everything she wants to achieve in her legal career. I have great pleasure in congratulating Catherine on winning this award, and I call her to receive the Minter-Ellison Prize for the best performing student in Stage 5 of the Bachelor of Laws.
Congratulations, Catherine, and thank you, Nathan. On to the JD. The Juris Doctor is becoming an increasingly important part of the law school, and it's been a wonderful program bringing in students from many different backgrounds from all over the world. The Allens Prize is for the best performing student in first year, Stage 1 of the JD, and it's to be presented by Tim Stewart, Managing Associate in the banking group at Allens, alumnus of this law school. And given my comments about the international focus of the JD, it's notable as well. I was looking at his career, that he's worked in London, Moscow, and Amsterdam with another firm before coming back to Allens. Again, Allens has been a very generous sponsor of UNSW Law in many ways, and it's great to have you here to present the prize. Thank you.
Thanks very much, David. It's really nice to be back here as well to present this prize tonight, and I'd really like to add my congratulations to those who've already received tonight in relation to all the prize givers and prize recipients. I will echo Kate's thoughts about get up and go if something's not right. As David said, I spent some time overseas, and there will be a time in your careers when you'll need to make a decision as to what's best for you, and it's important to make that decision for you, not for anyone else. Allens is very pleased to sponsor an award tonight and that recognises and rewards the talent, hard work, effort and application that's required to succeed in a degree at a law firm such as the University of New South Wales. We have particular pleasure in sponsoring a prize in relation to the Juris Doctorate program, where there is a whole cohort of people who have come back and made that conscious decision to study law, either from studying something else as an undergraduate degree or even pursuing another career before coming back. So it's with great pleasure that I call to the stage Don Nguyen to receive the Allens Prize for the best performing student in Stage 1 of the Juris Doctor program.
Thanks, Don, and thanks, Tim. Congratulations, Don. And the Stage 2 of the Juris Doctor program is the Banki Haddock Fiora Prize, to be presented by Peter Banki, the partner at Banki Haddock Fiore, one of the founding partners of the firm in 1995, and a highly respected intellectual property practitioner. Peter.
Thank you, David. Congratulations to all the prize winners. I'm inspired a bit myself tonight by Kate. I think I'm going to run through the superannuation tape. When I did law, and I wasn't an alumni, I'm not an alumni of this university, this was Kenzo Tech. A lot's changed. My field is copyright. It wasn't taught anywhere when I did law. I think this was the first university to include a subject, copyright, in its intellectual property learning. For that reason alone, I'm pleased to be here, and we're very pleased to have sponsored prizes at this university for a number of years. I think the most important thing for a graduate of law, and it does require, as in my case, I'll be frank, a bit of luck, is to find the thing you like. It's sort of what Kate was saying, and there are lots of possibilities. And I've been lucky in my career to have found an area, copyright, intellectual property more broadly, which I really love. And our firm, which specialises in intellectual property and media law, is a firm of people who have been lucky, like I have, to find the area that they're happy to practice in. And that leads to all sorts of things, not just legal practice, as Kate has said. So it's with great pleasure and with that background that I'm pleased to present the Banki Haddock Fiora Prize for the best performing student in Stage 2 of the Juris Doctor program, Alessia Morgan. Alessia.
Thank you, Peter, and congratulations, Alessia. And I should note that Alessia is, I think, going to be the first student to take up the new pathway program that we have, where students can finish their JD by going on to do the BCL at the University of Oxford. A wonderful program. The best performing student in the final year of the JD is the Bird and Bird Prize. And this will be presented by Shane Barber, Managing Partner of Bird and Bird in Australia, a communications and media lawyer, a UNSW alum, and a very generous donor in a personal capacity, and who has also been very generous in his support of the Australian Human Rights Centre based in the law school. Shane.
Well, thank you very much, David, and congratulations to all of you. It's a great pleasure for us to be here tonight to present the Bird and Bird Award, and I say us because Bird and Bird entered the Australian market in November of last year. So while we've been here before in a different capacity, it's great to be here as Bird and Bird. Bird and Bird is one of the leading law firms in the world advising industries where intellectual property, technology and regulation are driving change. And it is great to be involved in a firm that is really pushing forward new ideas and new areas of law. And I suspect that many of you in this room tonight will play a fantastic part in building law and regulation in industries that we haven't even heard of yet. So that's a very exciting thing that awaits you all. David mentioned that we've been involved with the university here for a number of years, and it's been an enormous pleasure for us. It's a fantastic place. One of my favourite places anywhere is to come back to this university. In fact, it's on my jogging track every week, and I love to come here and see what's new and what's happening in the place. Can I give two pieces of advice to students, though, just based on my own personal experiences? Endorsing many of the things that Kate and the others have said here. And that is, firstly, make sure, as well as being excellent at what you do academically, to invest in yourselves. You have a great life ahead of you, and one of the things that will make you stand out and open the doors of opportunity for you is to ensure that you're investing in the things that you're passionate about. And it doesn't mean, they don't have to be particularly mainstream. There are, limits on what you should be pushing forward as your passion, but it's the thing that I certainly look for when I'm employing law students, to find somebody who is going to be excited about their career and a great team player. And the other thing, I suppose, to say is, don't worry too much. It's going to be okay. I remember sitting here in the 1980s being very worried and very anxious about what the world had in store for me, but it turned out okay in the end, so I'm sure it will for you as well. It's a great pleasure to award the Bird and Bird Prize to the leading student in the third year of the Juris Doctor program, and I'd like to ask Samuel Gerber to come forward.
Thanks, Shane, and congratulations, Sam, particularly for completing a great trifecta of being top of each year through the JD, first year, second year, and now third year. A great achievement. The final prize is the Maurice Blackburn Lawyers Prize, which is for the best performing student across all of our postgraduate master's programs in the law school. And this prize is to be presented by Rebecca Gilsonen, principal in Maurice Blackburn's Class Actions Department, an alumna in Law and Social Work from UNSW, again a member of my advisory council, and a very generous donor in her personal capacity to the law school, and someone who was largely responsible for a prize which will be a scholarship which we'll be acknowledging in a few minutes, the Judge Bob Belair Scholarship. She's done a great deal for us. Rebecca.
Thank you, David. Good evening. Maurice Blackburn is very proud to be associated with this prestigious law school, which, like us, has strong social justice and human rights values. Successes and breakthroughs in the law are achieved through a strong work ethic, perseverance, rigour and intellect. I have no doubt that these are the qualities that Michelle Chase has brought to her Masters of International Law and International Relations. Michelle is the winner of the Maurice Blackburn Award for the best performing postgraduate student across all postgraduate programs in the law school. Congratulations, Michelle.
Thanks, Rebecca, and congratulations, Michelle. Now we go on to acknowledgement of the scholarship winners. I'd like to begin by thanking the donors for the provision of these scholarships, which assist students in their studies. They go to students who are awarded scholarships recognising factors such as exceptional academic achievement and socioeconomic disadvantage. These are, of course, not exclusive. Students receiving scholarships to offset disadvantage have to have performed exceptionally to reach our entry levels. Raising money for these scholarships is a prime focus of our development program, helping to give real substance to UNSW Law's commitment to social justice. And we're able to do this thanks to the generosity of our donors. Some of them are here tonight, mainly in the second and third rows of the central section just right in front of me, and I'd like to acknowledge them: the Dixon family, John and Jenny Green, Elizabeth Quigley, Professor Paul Redmond, Simon McNamara and Katerina Jovanovska, the presidents of the Law Society, James Nguyen, the powerhouse behind the Knock Tramwin Award, Rebecca Gilsonen, as I just mentioned, Michael, John and Joy Surmay, and Jenny and Ted Arnold. What I'd like to do now is to invite the 15 scholarship holders to come down to the stage with their certificates. So if they could come down and join us. And they are Kate Bonser, winner of the Dixon Family Scholarship, Emma Kate Buxton, the Postgraduate Scholarship, Cameron McFedrin, Postgraduate Scholarship, Nadia Rosenman, another Postgraduate Scholarship, Rachel Chadwick, Juris Doctor Scholarship, Raina Bay, the Daniel Surmay Scholarship, Harry Holbrook, the John W. Kirkwood Memorial Scholarship, Tennille Houghton, Juris Doctor Scholarship, Eliza Kwang, the Lillian Cohen Memorial Scholarship, William Zhao, another Lillian Cohen Memorial Scholarship, Alice Kwan, the UNSW Law Society Award, Ruby Langton Batty, the Juris Doctor Indigenous Scholarship, Luke Osterland, Juris Doctor Indigenous Scholarship, Aaron Louth, the Dorothy Hughes Memorial Scholarship, and the Paul Donnelly Memorial Scholarship, Sarah McIntosh, the Louise Brown Memorial Scholarship, and Marcel Saloom, the John M. Green Scholarship, Robin Thiessen, Juris Doctor Scholarship, Mary Tran, the Knock Tramwin Scholarship, and Genevieve Westbury, the scholarship I was just mentioning, the new one, the Judge Bob Belair Memorial Scholarship. Please join me in congratulating our scholarship winners. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Well done. Next, it's our Centia students. These are the extraordinary young people who achieve ATARs of 99.9 or above in the HSC or the IB, i.e. they are in the top 0.1% of high school leavers. They're amazing young people who, this group have made such a contribution to the law school in the years that we've been running this program, combining somehow, I don't know how they do it, combining wonderful academic achievement with lots of external activities. So I'd invite this year's Centia scholars onto the stage and ask you to congratulate them. So they are Brittany Abbott, Lillian Frame, Ruby Liu, Shirley Lin, Da Jason Sun, and Shan Shi Jiang Hyo. Congratulations. We have to catch up. Okay. Now we go on to the Dean's List presentation. The Dean's List is recognition of the student who tops each of the many courses in the LLB, JD, and Masters. Topping a course is an amazing achievement, and we're very keen to recognise it. What I'd ask you, what we're going to do now, this is a rather lengthy and sometimes slightly disorganised process, so please bear with us. Reserve your applause for the end. And I'd invite the Dean's List students to come down to the stage when their row is notified by your usher, and they'll come up and have their photograph taken with me. Thank you. To finish, this is the end of our a great award ceremony. I'd like to thank all of my colleagues, the staff, academic, professional and technical staff who've contributed to making tonight's event happen, especially to our marketing and development teams and to our student services team who've just done such a great job. I'd like to repeat my thanks to the donors of prizes and scholarships. Like the law school, they recognise the importance of acknowledging excellence and challenging disadvantage. And I'm very grateful to them for making tonight's celebration possible. Special thanks to the parents, families and friends of our students who've come tonight and sat patiently watching other people's sons, daughters coming up to get prizes. We'd particularly like those family, friends to come and join us for the reception afterwards on level 1. Before then, they can go on to have first go at the drinks, but I'd like to ask our students here tonight to come down to the stage for a group photo with the donors before you go on to the reception. After that, I'd particularly encourage the students who were awarded prizes and who've won scholarships to find their donors and to thank them. They'll be around. And that's it. Finally, I'd just like to end again with congratulations to all of our students for your amazing achievements, and thank you.